Check, check. Should be up.
Green light, go, go, go.
All right then. Good evening. Let's get my volume right. I'm messing about a bit with the settings today, so it probably will break, but it went wrong last night, so I just wanted to make sure it's going to work. Here we are with Misano for Group 2, Round 9, so the penultimate round of the championship. And we're just at the start of quali now, so I'll jump over to that in just a second, but I'll let everybody just get a setup lap in. And then we'll jump over to that. So looking at the top of the championship, what have we got with 2 rounds to go? Steve Howells, Justin Cutler, Martin Bailey at top of the podium. But then just go back to that in a second. There's the rest of the goal category in Group 2. And then we've got the Pro-Ams. So we've got the pros and then we've got the Pro-Ams. Glenn Parkinson, Kurt Sullivan and Roger Dismukes. Benny Heim as well in there. They're pretty close behind in P4, so they're all up for it. 65 points, there's the rest of the group. 65 points for a win in any of our races. So, and a couple of extra points there for fastest lap and I think as well. So who's that in for? Phil Charles. Not far off on points. And to be realistic as well, Terry Trowbridge and others have a couple of good races and the front 3 or 4 don't. There's a podium or potentially a win there as well. So with that many points on offer, it's still kind of all to play for. Let's just get back to the action proper. There we go. I'm just on auto cam at the minute as people rush out to get their laps in. Right, let's jump over to the proper live cam, get full screen. So here we go for quali. I might be again in a slightly odd mode for quali. Let me just see if I can do something about that timing wise. That's actually fine. It's fine. I just wanted to make sure I've got lap times, not relatives. Relatives aren't very helpful in quali. So yeah, everybody coming up for their first flying laps. Who's got out early then? So we're looking at 3:16 there. Bailey's got out early on in quali. Who are we going to follow? Why not? First, so let's turn auto cam off and get to something that we can actually kind of see the action on. Let's go helicam for a minute. Actually, I find that the night races helicam's a little more useful than others. But Bailey's out there at the moment putting in his first lap. Everybody's on first lap. Nobody's validated yet. 6-9, is that Steve who's got out there first? Actually, it could be, couldn't it? Who is yeah, Steve got out. He got out first. Racing at the pits, or certainly near the front at the pit. Unless he's coming around like, no, he's coming around. What am I talking about? What am I on about? Hello, Laura, back again. Yeah, good luck to Group 2. We had a cracking race last night, Group 1. There were a couple of really tight battles. Really good to see. I think we all enjoyed, well, those of us that have seen it, the battle between the old and the new Ferraris with Thomas and Craig. And yeah, it was interesting to see that, and the Porsche in the mix there of Dave Marsh. So it's some good stuff on track. It was a topsy-turvy race because we ended up pretty much the top 10 full of Pro-Am, not Pro, because there was an incident quite early on that I still actually haven't found the time to go back and look at. I think Dave Sparks and Gasson got scuppered. Sparks had a drive-through for invalid start, and then Gasson I think had an incident that I still haven't seen, so apologies Rich, I'm not. But yeah, that's really threw everything up in the air and led to the Pro-Am category winning the race. So that was yeah, a real turn up for the books, but a really good race. And watch the stream of that if you fancy a bit of entertainment from Group 1 if you haven't seen it. But anyway, we're on to Group 2. And like I said, we got in the mix. I'm just going to nip back. Who's putting in the early times? Phil Giles. He's put in a 35.365, which at the moment is nearly a second faster than Bailey in P2. So that's a pretty serious lap. I think we're looking, yeah, at 35s, maybe even 34s for Group 2. But yeah, I think what we noticed last night, interestingly, some drivers like the Pro-Ams last night, they really like this track, and often it's not the super fast guys everywhere else that get on with tracks like Misano. I think you could say the same as well a bit for Alton Park. Maybe Hungaroring as well. It's a bit of a specialist track. You either love it or hate it. Spend some time here, and you can really extract a lot of time if you know where the valid track and the off tracks are. So I think knowing what curbs you can absolutely abuse can get you about half a second to a second a lap here once you're on pace. Bill Giles put in the early pace, but Steve Howells has put in a blinder as well, 1:35.1. So he's just pipped Giles by 0.2 there and squeezed in between them is Cutler. He's car number 35, 1:35.272. So really close to those top three at the moment. At the top four, Ant Flack is looking like he's in the mix as well. And he's just done a best sector 1, I think, although he's a bit off his best pace. But let's stick Phil Giles, yeah, because he's just taken pole back. Still quite early in qualification, so anything can happen here. Taking it back by just over a 10 from Steve. So yeah, good close battle at the front as well. So who else have we got in the mix here? I'm just going to nip back across to... So we're doing... Let's have a look. I'm going to stick on Phil Giles because he's on another flyer. In fact, no, that's selfie. Let's give somebody else a go who's on a good lap. I'm going to nip back in the pack here to Trevor Evans. It's currently P15, but he's nearly half a second up on his previous. Let's see what he can do there. And Divine as well. He's nearly a second up on his. But let's stay ahead with Divine at the moment. See what he can do from P16. In the Pro-Am category. At the moment, pretty much what you'd expect. Most of the top 10 is the Pro category. There's a couple in there, Glenn Parkinson and Murray, who are in the top 10, P7 and 9, who are in the Pro-Ams. But yeah, that's about it at the moment. What Bailey's showing you. Let's just see what we get here for Divine. Pushes himself up to P13, so he dropped a bit towards the end there. And yeah, what did we get there? 10. So just nipping back to Giles again now because he's pushing again, might get back into pole. Steve House has gone into the 34s, 34.882. I don't think it's going to be enough for Phil here, but gets in a little bit closer. Look at that, it's only 600ths, that is, isn't it? 600ths off P1 at the moment. So it's front row, he might be happy with that, but it's 7.5 minutes to see if he can do better. He wishes to do that. Who else is on a flyer at the moment? Ant Flack's a 10.5 up in the matching livery to Mr. Giles there. Not at all confusing for us. Let's just nip to TV cam for a minute, have a look at the liveries because they are nice. We like the glow in the dark numbers as well. I am eating Pringles. I apologise, I was late for my dinner. I just had a cheese toasty. It's last minute desperate food. But it was very nice. Cheese toasty and cheese on toast are the king of snack foods. For sure. So Ant Flack has dropped a load there actually. No, he's got it. He just put it back. He's really slow into that corner B. He just went for the slow entry, fast exit. So he's still a 10.5 up. Let's see what he can do in the sector 3 on a track. This could cause him trouble if he's catching traffic here. Love the lighting effects. Loads of curb there, as you need to. See what he does here as well. Loads of curb there on the inside. Oh, keeps it in the limits, but he's lost a chunk of time there. He's not as fast. God, he's lost over 0.2 in sector 3. Might claw a little bit back, but I don't think it's going to do a lot for him, to be honest, for the position he's currently in. Now, he only needs a 10th to get up to P3. No, he's dropped it. Okay. So he's going to go and get some fresh boots on that, I reckon, and come out and do a lap. Giles keeps putting in best sector 1, but he's still not quite pip. hit Steve there. Let's go to Bailey. Currently he's sitting in P5. But if you can get a few tenths off his lap, which he's looking potentially doing, he might get himself onto the second row and drop Ant Flack down a bit further to add insult to injuries. He just couldn't quite get up to P3. Again, he looks like a chunk of time gone, but it might come back to him here. Yeah, 2 tenths up at the moment. Still got a fair chunk of the lap to go. Terry Trowbridge on a bit of a flyer at the moment as well. He's nearly 4 tenths up. I'll cut to him actually and get back to Bailey. Barry Cohen over the line. He's currently P11. Ah no, he got himself up to P11. So pay attention. Attention. It's been a long day. So Bailey P5 but 3 tenths up, so this potentially gets him into P4 on the second row at the moment with 4 minutes to go. That stays in P5. Steve Howells is out. I think just trying to solidify his current position. Let's see who else is on a good lap. Trickett's going all right. The start of his lap here, he's still in the sector 2. He's in, I think. But stick with him for a second. Nobody else on a flyer at the minute. Bailey's gone for another one. Actually, he's nearly might cut back to him in a second. Oh, is he invalidated? That is a shame. He's 3 tenths up on his best. Up to Helicam for Mr. Trickett. Another Pringle. 7 tenths up. That's a very good lap if you can just hold it together. Sector 3. Probably cursed it by saying that. Looking alright so far. One more corner. 6 tenths. He dropped a couple of tenths, but still half a second should move him up. P7, fantastic work. So P10 to P7, that is a good improvement there as well. Who else is on a good lap at the moment? Killip's going well. It's early in his lap, but he's taking a massive chunk of time out of his. Little bit inconsistent there though. Let's just see what's going on. Should we go on board for a minute? Let's do a bit of bonnet cam. Intensity, bonnet cam. Oh, he's deep on the brakes, so can he bring it back? Searching for an apex in the desert of no apexes. Cross nicely. Yeah, it needs to a little bit trailing for that corner, I think. Get the nose in a little bit better, especially with the Porsche. It really likes being tucked into the corners, doesn't it? In my vast experience of driving it at one track. Track's clearly gone optimum because everyone's suddenly gone green on their laps. I'll stick with McKillop at the moment just so we can complete that lap. Still a couple of tenths up. He's currently P10. He's dropped a chunk there though. No, bringing it back 2 tenths. Just get this last corner right. Be brave, brave, power, power. Half a second nearly up on his best. P10 currently. P5, what a fantastic effort there. That's brilliant work by McKillop. Let's just nip back now to tell you what I did just miss was just looking at that. I'll stick on board with Bailey for the minute. But we're now looking at the top 5 of Howells, Giles, Flack, Cutler, McKillop and Bailey. Bailey is on a flyer here. Previous best 135.6. This could get him into the 34s quite happily if he just gets his last couple of corners right. No, he's going to be, what's he going to be? 35.3, 35.2, gets into P5, so he's, yeah, Hopkins in P6, McKillop pushed down to P7. Everybody, like I said, everybody absolutely flying now on these laps. I think he's invalidated there, so we'll cut someone else. Few people invalidated. Cutler's down, he's in P4, he's on a lap, but he's dropped 2 tenths. Let's stay with Trickett. Let's pop to TV1. So Trickett 7 tenths up. Jeez, he's only 3 tenths up a couple of corners ago. So he's absolutely flying now. The track's gone optimum. 35.9. So yeah, if he knocks a second off that, it takes him from P9 right up to P3 or 4, potentially P3. Let's see what he can do. He's dropped a little. Might pull it back now. Let's see. Oh, he's wide through there. He didn't quite apex it, did he? So he's lost a couple of tenths. Let's see if he's brave over the bumps here. It's not bad, not bad. Still nearly half a second up on his previous best. Yeah, it looks like he's going to push him up. P6, yeah, P6. Fantastic work. So he's third row. Great work indeed. And we're out of time in quali. The only person still on a lap is Bruce Hopkins. It's coming across. He's nearly 3 tenths up as well. So everybody leaving to the last minute did a good job. Whoa, 7th to 4th. Fantastic work, Mr. Hopkins. Up to the second row from looking decidedly, you know, mid to upper pack to second row. That is a brilliant piece of work. Well done. Well done. So let's just run through what we've got then in the way of quali. So I'll go top. Let's do this. So front row, Steve Howes. I know what you're saying. I hear you. It's going to be group 0.5 next season, not group 1, group 0.5. Steve Howes, but very, very close. Less than a tenth between Howes and Giles in P2. So 0.06 to Phil Giles. Then we've got just a tenth behind him, Ant Flack, and then Hopkins in P4. P5 is Cutler, P6 Bailey, P7 Trickett, P8 McKillop, P9 Martin. They are all in the pro category. P10 is the highest pro-am, is Parkinson. And he's 1.1 behind. So all P1 to 9 in the pro category are all within 8 tenths of the pole time. It's super close. That is really, really good. So I'm hoping we get an absolute belter of a race here. I'll probably miss half of it, which is my form, because, you know, I'm rubbish at capturing all the action. But I'll do my best to keep up with it as we go through the race. Got a full formation lap for me to make myself nervous enough to mess it up. So I'll do my best to keep up with the action, though, this evening. So yeah, let's work down from P10. So P10, Parkinson, who is first in class, is pole in class of Pro-Am. Then North, P11. P12, Murray. 13, Trowbridge. 14, Sullivan. 15, Evans. 16, Devine. 17, Roger Dismukes. 18 in Rogue. Keith Moore 19th. Anyheim looking in P20 there, so 20 on track this evening. Like I said, it's a fair split. You can see it on the screen. You're not blind. I'm looking at the ACC race control, not the screen, but it's all there for you to see. It's very Ferrari flavoured, isn't it? Very Ferrari flavoured in this group. I think it's a fair few people decided meta, OP meta, maybe. But yeah, so Howes leading at the front with the OP car and everybody else following behind with the same OP car. Fair play to Cutler there. All tenths behind in not a Fiat. So, good man. And then, yeah, let's just call them out. Porsche, Cutler Lambos, McLaren in there for good luck. A few people not made it tonight as well, but hopefully they'll make it for the finale next week. Final race of the season, like I said, all to play for in this group as well. So lots going on. Let's try and follow the action. Try and drink water and stay calm and follow what's going on track. But look at that. It's a good looking game, isn't it? It's a good looking game. Right. Yeah. Looks better when there's 50. 20 is not bad. Right, in chat, I've got eight viewers. Spoil for views. I mainly stream these ones, to be honest, so that people in the races can catch up afterwards, but it's great if there's a few people here watching as well. If you do post in chat, I will see it eventually. Steve, I don't know if the car's OP or just you are, so you're both getting moved. And you're driving the Jag next season. I think it's only fair. That's not fair, really. You can have the Jag or the Nissan. Take your pick. and 50 kilos of ballast. But you'll be fine. It's going to be fine. That is right. Everyone's lined up properly. Yeah, sorry, it just looks weird with that grid because you've got a slot at the front that isn't occupied. Everything's looking fine. Yeah, everyone's on track fine. So yeah, full formation lap. So Misano, yeah, it's to be fair, we started with a bit of a topsy-turvy start, didn't we, to quali, but it's all ironed out pretty much as expected when looking at people in the list, I suppose. Who have we got up there that's sort of fighting out position? I don't know, really. I think it's looking pretty much as expected, whereas Group 1 was in quali Group 1 was fairly well split as well, just ended up going a bit upside down. Off we go, formation lap then. With it being a night race, slightly lower track temperature as well, it really is hard to get the heat in the tyres on a formation lap, even if you're just stamping on the brake. I don't know, the experts said it might be able to get up to 26 psi, but I reckon more like low to mid 25s at the best of formation lap, which is a challenge for tyres and brakes for turns 1, 2 and 3. As we saw last night, need to be super cautious, particularly into the first super twisty section at the end of sector 1. I don't know the corner names, but yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Derek, you're welcome. It's good. I'm glad if there are a few guys Group 1 watching. I think there'll be a few people in observer mode as well, but yeah, it's good. It's good to have a few people watching. Yes, so I should have invited someone in to co-commentate, shouldn't I, and save myself some work. I just didn't have time. It's been a busy day. So yeah, evening Simon, good to see you here as well. So yeah, just say hi to people. Obviously Thomas, congrats again for last night, great racing. Laura, our avid viewer, here as ever, showing great loyalty to the group. Fantastic work. The trophy is in the post. Rob, good to see you here. Dave, yeah. Steve, I've ribbed Steve enough, so I'll lay off it now. Fine, we're in the clear. Yeah, Derek and Simon, good to see you. So yeah, it's like I said, it's a really interesting track because if you are really pushing for places, there is a lot of time on the tight corners, over the curbs, on some of the rumble strips, but there are off tracks there as well, which can catch you out. I mean, I think particularly turns 3, 4 and 5 in particular through that first twisty section, you can get 2 off tracks in short succession if you're not cautious. So yeah, it's a really tricky track to get it right on. I think last time I raced it, I had 2 off tracks in 2 laps and then was super cautious for the rest of the race and couldn't really push. Would love to have pushed because I think later into the race you get into a nice rhythm with this track. It is a funny one on those first sharp corners, the way you have to abuse the car to really get the best rotation through the tight corners, but as you get used to that, it's pretty good fun. I think I'm going to focus on Helicam from P6, which is Bailey. Although to be fair, I might focus on the Aston, even though it's not known for its fast starts, nor are the other 68 Ferraris. Yeah, Colin, you're probably right. I'll lay back into Steve in a minute. But Cutler in the not Fiat might be able to have a bit of a flyer. It really depends on how much better it starts. It's still a slow starter, isn't it? It could even be McKillop in 8th, coming through in the Porsche. They're off with green. Yeah, it looks like he got a good start there, didn't he, Howes? He got good positioning off the line. Let's see sensible braking, please, Group 2. Let's see it. No concertinas at the back yet, but it's actually last night. It was, we think you're clear in turns 1 and 2. It's actually coming down to this first twisty where the braking can get really out of control. Let's have a look. Porsche looking good at the moment. Oh, it's a sneaky up the inside on Killop there. From Trickett, he's up a place in his Ferrari. We've got 5 Ferraris at the front so far. Steve Howes and the top 4 looking like they're creating a bit of a gap here so far. Cutler in P5 on the outside. He's getting taken on the inside. Has he seen him? He's kind of seen him, but come across anyway. Bit of a friendly tap there on the side just to let him know he's there. Cutler dropping a few places there. Oh, Parkinson's had a mare. What happened? Oh no, it's terrible. He was first in class, qualified first in class. I'm just going to nip back and see what happened here for Parkinson. So he's there in the Lambo. Oh, gone off track there, and he's lost. He wasn't able to stop the car, swerved back across, and took out the unsuspecting. I can't see who that was, but that's a terrible shame for him there. Let's nip up to the front. Steve Howell's got 1 second lead at the moment. Maybe I should lay back into him. Let's see how he goes. And then Giles at the moment in fairly comfortable second. Third place Hopkins. Then Bailey in fourth. Those guys are all pretty spaced out. And Flack as well in fifth. So yeah, we got the two Marlborough cars looking nice. Race tonight. But then Cutler is really under pressure. He's not getting that car to work. He had a fantastic quali. Pretty good quali. Looks like he hasn't found his rhythm yet, or maybe got the heat in the tyres. Let's just see how he gets on. Under a little bit of pressure there from Trickett. It's behind him. No, he's got a bit of a gap. He's getting the power down now. Let's just have a listen and see what it sounds like for him on board. Our traction sounded good there, so I think he's warmed his tyres up now. My Pringles taste nice too. Okay, so I'm just going to nip up to Hopkins here. Under a bit of pressure from Bailey, who's got into his rhythm now. To put his foot down. So again, looks like it's going to be some close racing tonight. So we got on the relative. Just having just movers and shakers really. Quite like that. So yeah, the Ferrari Fest in full force here in the top 10. We got 7 out of 10 in the Ferraris. The exceptions being Cutler in 6th now. So I think he started 4th, isn't he? So he's not too bad, and he's pulling back a little bit on Flack now. So all is not lost. Marlborough Ferrari looking really nice. Yeah, so Giles there, he's 2.5, 2.7 behind House. That's what I was reading now, 2.1 now. So it's 2.8 on my relative, but shows us 2.1 on screen, go figure. I don't think that's a live update. Hopkins only 0.4 now behind Phil Giles. Look, really got in the slip there, putting him under some pressure. Looks pretty racy. There's some close fights behind Cutler again, like I said. Coming back on Flack, a couple of places behind. But let's focus on this for a second. Let's see what Hopkins can do. They're in the same machinery. It's going to be down to setup and pilot issues. Skill issues. Good line there from Phil Giles. Got a really good exit. Just trying to maximise his exits, keeping him in. Nothing exceptionally close down the rest of the field, so we'll stay on this at the moment. I'll jump to the flat cut, the battle for 5th place. If things change significantly, see, it can happen very quickly. But Bailey here with Flack right behind him, really chasing him down. Let's pop back to Helicam. It just gives a slightly simpler view of what's going on. So Simon, a very important question to answer. You're right. Oh, it's good under braking. It's too much though. Brake too late. But the Pringles question, obviously more important than the race. There's salt and vinegar Pringles, but they're not my favourite. It's just, as you know, having kids means that you live in a democracy. But it's a very unusual democracy because you really don't have a voice. You think you do. think you have authority and power. Because you've got the deeper voice in the family, but it means nothing. So they're salt and vinegar because my two boys love salt and vinegar. My personal favourite is barbecue, but they don't like those so much. We occasionally compromise on sour cream and chive, but you know, it's a nobody likes a compromise, do they? No one likes a compromise. Well, you hate barbecue, Thomas, or you hate something, probably barbecue. It's a bit, it's a bit love-hate, isn't it, barbecue flavour? Personally, I find them like catnip to me. They're absolutely addictive, to the point you have to keep them away from me. They're not good part for a recovery diet plan for a heart attack with them. So I try and stay clear of them, but I was given about 10 with my cheese toasty. So it's a detailed answer to the question there, but I think this is the stuff that people want to know. I'll shut up now and get back to the racing. Yeah, barbecue. Nice one, Simon. Man of class and distinction, I can tell. Right, Phil Giles has put in the fastest lap of the race so far, and he's pulled back half a second on Steve Helms. Focus on the race, Chris. Focus on the race. And who else is close on track? This battle here is the closest battle on track. Everything's pretty much line astern behind that. But I might cut away a bit further down the pack to shed a bit of light on who else is racing, who else is going well this evening. So yeah, that battle there, Cutler's only 0.5 behind. He looks like he's got his pace back. Had a rough start, didn't he, with that Aston? Just couldn't get it going. But maybe he's just getting into his rhythm now. I expect there to be a good fight there as well. Pringles original. Well, they're just assaulted, Thomas. I mean, I'm trying to get off the topic, but you know, you have me at Pringles discussions. Salted's okay. I mean, I find I need some hummus or something to light things up a bit. You know, they're just not absolutely fake enough for my liking. They need to be really strong and disgusting. Yeah, sour cream and onion. Michael, yeah, sour cream and onion Pringles. No. 300 kilos, yeah. It's the problem I have with the barbecue ones, to be honest, Ben. You know, it's I will die eating them. So yeah, need to stay away from those. Right, looking further down the pack. So like I said, we've got Cutler here in 6th, who's close up behind Flack, but not challenging just yet. So I'm going to nip down the pack a little bit. Trickett in P7, and then I've got a gap of 3 seconds to McKillop. Wow, Trickett really loose through there, but he held it together. And then a slightly lonely Porsche in P8 of McKillop. 3.1 behind. Big old gap to Alex North as well there in the Lambo, the sole Lambo driver. Then leader of Pro-Am class. So let's give Pro-Am a bit of light for a minute. The Pro-Am class is Sullivan after he's gone, hasn't he? He's gone. The guy he qualified P1 in Pro-Am. Brain's not there. But we're down to 18 runners now, so about 2 guys leave. So Sullivan is P1 in class in P10. Terry Trowbridge is in Pro class, but he's in P11. So he needs to catch up with Alex North, who's a good 7 seconds ahead of him if he wants to get some more points. And then we're looking at P2 in Pro-Am is Divine. P3 in class is Roger. Roger with a few sneaky podiums lately. He's really pulling his game out at the moment. Sorry, Laura, about the Pringles craving. It's just what happens, you know. It's the evening watching a race. At least I haven't started drinking beer, then I wouldn't stop talking about Pringles. We've got Roger P3 in class. Then behind him, only 1.9 behind, is Roke. So again, possibility of podium in class, but Roger's very solid these days. Done a lot of endurance driving lately. It's really up in his game. P3 in class, so he's running really well. Keith Moore's a chunk behind in the Audi. Kudos to the Audi runners. I tried to run it again the other day. First time in a while, thought I'd give it a go. Absolute death trap. I literally need a lot more skill than I have in my entire body to drive that car. So fair play to him still running it. And that camo livery is looking sweet, let's be honest. That looks good. Then we got Evans in 16. So yeah, in the oh, he's got Flappy bonnet. It's got a Flappy bonnet, people. Sad faces in chat for the Flappy bonnet. No, we'll leave it there. But yeah, still a fantastic livery even with a Flappy bonnet, isn't it? Benny Heim is running a big chunk behind, so he had the incident at the start. I think he got caught up, didn't he, in that incident at the start. And Murray 30 seconds behind there as well, so in P18. Back near the front now, getting it back to Hopkins, because he's still P3 with Bailey on his tail. Gaps behind them are sort of second and a half people, but this is the closest battle on the grid, so I'll leave it on it for a while. That was another Pringle, sorry. See, the salt and vinegar ones are overwhelming. You have a few, and they're great, and after a while it's just too much and you need a bit of water. I suppose you could say that about all of them. Pretty strong flavour. But stop, got to stop talking about Pringles. This is important. Steve Howell's got the fastest lap of the race so far, 34.772. But Phil Giles just behind, keeping him fairly honest. He's within 3 seconds, 34.8. And then who else has got good best laps in the field so far? Quite a few people in the 35s. We've got a mid 35 for Hopkins, 35.3 Bailey, 35.6 Flack, 35.8 Cutler, 35.7, and then we're into the 36s for the rest below there. Fastest Pro-Am driver is very much Sullivan with a 36.9. No, I lie. Divine's done a 36.7. So there's potentially good time in there too, and he's not, I don't know, 6 seconds behind and 22 minutes to go. Maybe it's not doable. Yeah, Thomas, never throw away the vinegar flavour ones. I mean, there'd be somebody who'd be very happy to have them. Just stand out in the street and say anybody wants salt and vinegar Pringles, and I'd be there. Someone else would. No shortage. Hopkins, yeah, looking a bit more under pressure again now. So it's 0.7 to Bailey. Bailey's just not. He's there, isn't he? He's got the pace, but then I don't know. It's just not quite making it stick. And I guess he's looking in his mirrors as well, isn't he? He's got his position to protect. These are all the top 9 are all pro drivers, as they have been since pretty early in the race. It's Parkinson, wasn't it? Qualified pole in the Pro-Am. A predator move, yeah. Stand in the street offering salt and vinegar Pringles to passers-by. What, they all offer them out of the back of a van? Or something like that. That really is, yeah. Shouldn't be going there, should we? Right, moving on. I did say the on the YouTube stream it wasn't intended for young audiences, so I think we're in the clear. Steve Howell's last lap was also, is it showing fastest lap of the race when he's done 54.7? Don't get that. 35.1. He's yeah, he's just holding that gap, I think, to get back to Bruce in a second. Let's just see how his exit is. Bailey looked fast through there. Just trying to show him something different, isn't he? Bill's wise to it. Strips there. Got very similar lines, these two guys, actually. Michael, yeah, we can send you a Discord invite. We use Facebook really just so to get evidence of people are a faulty group. And again, there's a few imposters in the group that aren't, but they're there by exception. One of them's in chat. So yeah, if you together, you left the platform Facebook. Yeah, okay. I'll get an invite, individual invite over for the Discord for you after this race, or I'll get Colin to do it. Is the other guy that admins, I think he's in chat as well. So yeah, we can get an invite over to you. I'm just not quite sure how. Through YouTube, we might need your details another way. Don't know how it'd be done. Somebody send me an answer on a postcard. I always used to think I was tech savvy, and then a question like that comes up, and I'm like, what am I doing? Oh, this looks close now. So Bailey's got a good run through there. But again, Giles goes well through here, and particularly on this final corner, he seems to just get the wider, faster exit. He's got it again, so he's pulled it out to over half a second again. Cutler looks like he's really challenging now on Flack. Let's just see it from Flack's perspective. I'll jump back to Bailey Hopkins if I need to. Imposters, Thomas. I know. Maybe slightly harsh terminology. Kids. Anyway, I haven't given Steve Howes any grief for Aston there, deep on the brakes. Steve Howes any grief. So yeah, as Steve definitely Group 2 Howes. 3.6 now the gap to Giles. Giles is capable of doing really fast laps here, but Steve looks like he's got it under control. Cutler really challenging now on Flack. Can he make it stick? He's got the slip. See this from Helicam. They're side by side. Who's going to go? He's going to go for it. Cutler's got the inside line. Last of the late breakers. It's third gear right. Cutler's definitely got the move. They just hold the line. Flack's not going to challenge him up the inside. That's a smart move there. Congratulations. I actually, you know, let's celebrate this because this two races now have actually caught an overtake. You saw it with your own eyes. I actually got an overtake on camera. So pat myself on the back for that one. Congratulations to Cutler there, getting back up to P5. So he's nearly restored the status quo after his slightly awkward start. He's got it back together, and he's making the moves in the last 17, 18 minutes of the race. Ant Flack, I'm sure, will be hoping to stay in his slipstream, but it doesn't look like he's going to challenge much from there. Gap's pretty consistent down the field. We'll just have a look again. This is the closest battle on the track at the moment. Simon Ade, you're not helping. More luck than judgment. Yeah, to be fair, Craig, I just happened to be watching them at the time. I wasn't actually looking at the relatives. I am now. This is the closest battle on track. We look at anything else that's close down the field. P7 and 8 are battling. It's only a second between these two, Trickett and McKillop. That's Ferrari versus Porsche. And then we got some big gaps after McKillop down to Alex North in P9 in the pro category. But then we've got Sullivan still leading the Pro-Am category by about, in fact, he's got a big gap there. He's got about 12 seconds over his nearest competitor. That is huge. So he's having a fantastic race. His Kurt's there, and if you just hold that together, drive sensibly, and importantly, if Terry does catch up with him, he not fight Terry too hard. So that he can keep that first, that podium in class. Then Divine there at P2 in class at the moment, so second in class, and then Roger 3 in class. Trickett and McKillop have just had incident. Don't know what happened to Trickett there. Looks like he either got a little nudge or he's just overcooked it. Let's have a look. He's taken a lot of curb, too much. He's hit the sausages and he's gone absolutely flying off track to the right there. See if he can just pull it back together. See, there's another bit of action I just showed you as well. I didn't miss that. Well, to be fair, I had to do a 15-second replay. Yeah, this race is fairly measured, isn't it, compared to the intensity of last night's, Thomas, especially from your perspective. That was a full-on assault, wasn't it? And Craig in chat as well. He did a fantastic job in a race last night. Certainly made it pretty spicy. Yeah, let's drive with Bailey for a little bit on the bonnet cam. Bonnet cam! Yes! Intense bonnet cam. Just see how he's doing on his lap and where he's closer and where he's not, because this is a lot of laps now that he's been following but not able to challenge Hopkins. Cutler only 2 seconds behind Bailey actually, and he needs to keep that in mind. 15 minutes to go, so every chance Cutler could close that up. Now he's got free air in front of him. Phil Giles then, he got I wasn't really paying attention to that, but he got a 5-second lead on Hopkins, so Hopkins definitely losing a bit of pace as the race continues. Although to be fair, Phil Giles has done a 1:34.8 in the race, which is half a second faster than Hopkins or Bailey have done. Bailey on paper, a couple of tenths quicker per lap than Hopkins, so every chance he's going to be challenging him before this race is out. And he's on his fastest lap, isn't he, so far? He's up a tenth on his best. He's really using the engine there to slow him down. Sounds absolutely brutal. It's a great sound on the downshift, isn't it, the Fiat? Not so good going up. Great coming down. Oh man, Craig. Everyone's old compared to you, Thomas. Need to show some respect for your elders. Gen Z Craig. Craig Gen Z Starking. He's been called worse. Dive bomb absolutely nailed on, Thomas, you're right. Next race, guaranteed. What a great finale that could be. I don't know where Bailey's going to do this, you know. He's just not fast enough in the right places, is he, to challenge? He definitely has a couple of tenths on Hopkins. I think he's better under braking at the twisty stuff. Oh, another good lap. Very late there. Then yeah, Hopkins just gets on the path. Looks, this is a run. Definitely good run for Bailey. They've got really good traction. I think Hopkins got a bit too much on the rumbles. See if he does a cheeky cut back here, if he's able to. Oh, he's gone wide, a little bit wide himself. Again, Hopkins getting really good traction at the mid-speed corners. It's a very defensive line. This could be his chance. Just get on the power early. Sounded good, but Hopkins got the same exit. Oh, it's a good battle though. It's a good battle. I won't cut away from it. Trowbridge and Trickett P10 and 11 as well. Trickett trying to make it work. Yeah, going down to first for that corner, that's his mistake, isn't it? He should keep it in second there. I think he'd get better corner speed if he kept it in second. A little bit braver that last corner. So he seems to be getting the better exits on the majority of the track, just not on the last, not on the corners that really matter. Somebody can tell me in chat, but I don't know, TC6 on the Ferrari, is that good? Is that what you run? It's on a fast lap again. Bailey's really got the hammer down. Hopkins driving well under the pressure, to be fair. Cutler and Flack, 5 and 6 are close again. I think Cutler's made a mistake. He's dropped a couple of seconds back from this battle. Just give this a couple of corners and we'll have a little bit of a look at that. Maybe Cutler and Flack smells an opportunity there. See how it goes. Stick with this just for a second and then we'll go. Look at what's occurring behind. Can he do? He's going to drop down to first again though, isn't he? Yeah. Just loses in that little bit of corner speed, doesn't it? I mean, can't quite challenge there. Oh, it's getting up to the back markers now. It's Keith smartly getting out of the way. So yeah, Cutler's just here in P5. TC6, 6 or 7. Wow, super. God, that's helpful, isn't it? Running TC that high, it's certainly going to get trouble. I think on the Lambo it's 4 or 3. Maybe I need to run it higher though. To there's a back marker there, very kindly getting out of the way of this battle as well. That was Keith again. Thank you, Keith. So yeah, Cutler and Flat. The gap's opened up again now between these two. I'm going to cut to this. Now we've got Alex North in P8, but he's in Pro category. Sullivan, who's leading the Pro-Ams, is right on his bumper, but he doesn't need to be challenging for it, and I think he knew that, and he was kind of in two minds as to whether to push or not. He's not put himself in any serious trouble because he's got a good gap to the guys P2 in Pro-Am, which is divine. He's still like 10 seconds behind him, but all the same, that was nearly the end of his race, just because he's punching above his weight basically, and Alex is not having a good race in the Pro category this evening. He's doing okay, he's P8, but looks like he just doesn't have that Lambo set up the way he needs it to be for this track. And again, some people just like Misano and go well here. Maybe a little bit out of character for a few of them. Cutler's had an incident in P5. Let's go and see what's happened to him there. Flack's taken him. He was coming back. Cutler's, he's gone out over the bumps. I nearly held it, and then he just kept his boot in, didn't he, when he came back on track. Thrown it into the wall on the right. That's really unfortunate. You're having a fantastic race, mate. He's gone straight to pit as well. That must have been a lot of damage. Gutting for him. That is a real shame. Murray's had a off track as well, but I think he's possibly getting out of the way of the back markers. So yeah, Ant Flack's gone up P5. McKillop's taken advantage as well to P6. North now P7. Sullivan P8, leader in class. The gaps are fairly similar though. Although it looks fun on track. But the two guys behind Kurt here are in Pro category, Terry Trowbridge and Andy Trickett. So he doesn't need to fight them if it's close. And he's boxed though, isn't he? Because Alex in front of him isn't doing the pace that we want him to be doing. Kurt's kind of stuck because he could get stuck in the middle of a fight that he doesn't want. He's well clearing class. Last thing he wants is be in the middle of a pro fight for these positions for E7. Bad luck for Cutler, wasn't it? Bad luck. Just the off track wasn't the problem. It was trying to keep his foot in, I think, to get back on, and he just hit a really big curve. Launched him into the right hand wall, and that's race over. Gutting for him. Okay, it's closest battle on track. I call it battle. It's not the same class, but I think Kurt might be thinking he just needs to get ahead of this so that he's not stuck in a fight. And Alex got ahead. North, he's run really wide there, but Kurt's giving him almost too much respectful room there. Maybe he's got the exit here just to push him. No, he's going to get boxed at this rate. If Terry Trowbridge is able to get another second, it's going to put Kurt in a position where, to be honest, he's better off dropping 2 places than he is getting stuck in the middle of there, isn't he? He's going for it now, surely. Again, he's super polite on the brakes. Alex North's probably wondering why he's not seen a car up his inside yet. Okay, I'll leave that for a second. Let's just move down the field a little bit. So P2 in class in Pro-Am is divine there. Got 15-second lead over Roger Dismukes in P3 in class. Then the gaps are big then down to Roke. Evans. It's a back marker behind it, so it's not a battle on track. Moore, I'm Cutler's sat in the pits. Bless him, he stayed on the server, good man. And then Murray in P18. Steve Howell's at the front. Let's just have a little look at him. He's had a pretty trouble-free race, hasn't he? He's led from the start. He got a great start right at the front of the box on the start. And he's got fastest lap to add insult to injury. 50 kilo ballast for the final race at least, and demotion to the Jack. Its own. Looking forward to seeing you on Monday nights in the next season. Steve's going to be a pleasure. I'm sure there'll be plenty of people looking to run close alongside you. Welcome you to Group 1. Phil Giles not let himself down though. He's only 2.7 behind. I think Steve's probably let his foot off the gas a little bit here. Last lap was a 36. It was invalid though, so I think he ran off track somewhere. Maybe not intentional. Maybe not quite as easy for him as I'm making out. Giles ran a 35.7 last lap. It's running really well. Hopkins and Bailey, Groundhog Day in the Ferraris. But it looks considerably closer than well. Exits. Always Hopkins on the exits, just gets a couple of car lengths, makes all the difference, particularly here. Bailey's just to be able to take a bit more curb on that final corner. He might find he has a couple of tenths that he didn't expect to find. Getting close to the end of the race now, last couple of laps. It's kind of now or never territory, isn't it, for Bailey? Oh, looks feisty. It's just moving around a bit. And Bruce even more to look at in his mirrors. Gone really tight through there. There's got to be an off track there for Bruce. A couple of lag spikes. I had this last night as well, this late in the race. Very odd. Nobody's dropped out of the server. It just, yeah. Hopkins still looking good. He's really running some risky lines on the track though to keep it where he is. Let's just have a little look from here. Kurt's still not taken north, and Trowbridge is a second and a half behind him now, so not quite the jeopardy that there was before potentially for him. P1 in class, running P8 in the race. And this is it, closest battle on track. Where are we on? We're going to end up. Oh, lap time 1:35. Yeah, I think we're entering the final lap now. So I think Steve's about to start the final lap of the race. Bailey's really got a now or never. Mind you, to be fair, P4 in the race, he might be reasonably happy with that. It's good points. There's a lot of points scored at the top end of this is in our group. Steve Howells then, I think on his final lap, as much it hasn't flagged it up. Yeah, it's 2.5 ahead of Phil Giles there. They've been pretty much in that formation for the whole race, haven't they? Hopkins 7 seconds, 7.5 behind Giles now. So, yeah, they really have stretched out. As Hopkins has been challenged by Bailey, obviously he's had to drive defensive for, what, 10, 12 laps now. He's really been under pressure, whereas Steve has been able to sit out there and race his lines his way. Phil Giles in second in that lovely, looking fantastic. And then we're looking at a back marker behind it. But then these guys coming home 1-2. There we can see the battle behind between Hopkins and Bailey. Still pretty fierce. Bailey 0.4 behind Hopkins now. Is he looking to have a go? His final lap. Say final lap. It's going to be, isn't it? For sure. I don't think he is. I don't think he's got it. So Steve Howells coming around the final corner now. Victory in round 9 for Steve Howells. Fantastic race, and credit to Phil Giles as well. Kept him honest pretty much through the entire race. Great pace from him too. Then we got Hopkins and Bailey lying astern Groundhog Day for about 15 laps for these guys. Fantastic racing, guys. Good entertainment. Thank you very much. And then we've got Ant Flack coming home in a pretty lonely 5th place there. He was in the mix, having some good battles for quite a while, but then things spread out a bit. Coming home P6 now. In the first, not a Fiat, is McKillop in the Porsche, car 73. It's my old bus from Stoke Newington. And then Alex North P7 with Kurt right behind him as he has been for a fair chunk of the race, but at least the gap behind him to Terry sort of eased off, so he wasn't under huge pressure to get past. But congratulations as well, Kurt Sullivan, fantastic race, P1 in class, took advantage there of his opportunity to take that podium. P2 in class is Divine, just coming, he's over the line already. And then Roger Dismukes, P3 in class as well, in 12th position in the race. Yeah, I've enjoyed the last few Pringles as well. They've been good. They've kept me, do you know what, they've been good sustenance for a good race. So yeah, not quite as tense as last night, but still very good racing. Well done everybody in Group 2. Just running through the rest of the field, let's have a look then, shall we? So then in class, like I said, Kurt's car 41 there in P8, great racing from him. Steve Devine second, Roger in third, and then looking down, Trickett, Roke, Evans, Moore, Harry, Cutler, Martin, Parkinson. Parkinson was unfortunate, obviously qualified brilliantly, was on for a great race, but these things happen. It's tough. Well done, Steve. All credit to you. The ribbing will continue, but another great race from you, and a fantastic race from Phil Giles in P2. Hopkins and Bailey, great entertainment. Thank you, chaps. And again, everyone really in that sort of top 8, top 9, 10, putting on a good show for us tonight. Really good work. So thank you all for that. That's pretty much done. Look, the Pringles are gone. Plate's empty. Nothing left. No more to say, really. Thanks, Derek. That's very kind of you to say that. Deserve some more Pringles, yeah. Although my body disagrees these days, and there are limits. Look, SIMseniors. We're trying out some T-shirts. Hopefully, we'll be able to offer some T-shirts to you guys soon. Oh look, it's even got my number on. Isn't that nice? Yeah, looking good. Yeah. No, anyway. Yeah, thank you very much for coming and watching tonight. It's nice to have a few people here to watch it. I know a lot of the guys in Group 2 will be watching at the end, so good race, Group 2. Well done. It's good to see you all doing such a great job. And lovely to be able to commentate on it. See you all here. So fantastic stuff. Just look through a few of the comments before I disappear. Anything else? No, Pringles. A lot of Pringles stuff. I think the commentary was enhanced by Pringles. I think Pringles make it could make all the difference. Certainly when the gaps are a bit bigger. Maybe we could go into other snack food types that we use for sustenance when, you know, maybe we need to talk about what diet we need for a 24-hour commentary. That is a bridge too far at the moment, though. Anyway, thank you again for supporting and for coming along. Michael will, I'll talk to Colin, we'll try and get you connected somehow. Or if you just, I think you can probably on YouTube, can you private message us? You can whisper to us there as well. But anyway, Colin knows better than me. Trickett got a drive-through. Stinker. Well, there you go. Anyway, fantastic racing. Final race of the season next week. I think it's a longer race, and is it double points? I can't remember now. I should know, shouldn't I? I'm an admin. I should know what's going on. Colin will correct me. Yeah, okay. What's that? Need name and number? What's that, Colin? Oh, Colin knows better than me. Hopefully we can get your details and get you into the group. As long as you're old enough. Older than Thomas. Be good. Tomorrow night we've got multi-class. Again, we ran a multi-class last week and we got like 26 guys on a track. So that was really good fun. So it'd be really good to get as many people as possible on the track tomorrow. So if you're in the group, run what you brung, your GT4, GTC. You can come in the Ferrari Challenge if you're so inclined and you want like a car with wooden brakes and a jetpack at the back. It's great fun. So yeah, come along for multi-class tomorrow night at 8 PM if you can make it. We've got some other casual stuff as well as usual. Thursday night GT3 will be for the final. It's a casual, but for the final track of the season, so anyone can race that one. Even if they're not in the championship, just turn up and run. Friday night triples, and then the fun stuff on the weekend as well. And I know Colin's got some tweaks and fun stuff lined up for the new Sunday championship as well. So there we go. Michael's just popped his Discord name. That would be it, wouldn't it? Send Discord info. That'll be the one. So yeah, we'll get that sorted. But anyway, thank you all for coming. Fantastic to see you, and I shall look forward to commentating or racing next week. Not sure. I'm meant to be racing, but honest, this is less stressful.